Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been a couple weeks since my last video, but there's a good reason. As you can probably see from the title, I have reorganized my whole entire record collection, or at least all the Beatles stuff, which is more than half of my collection anyway. So I'm behind the camera today. I'm just going to kind of give a quick overview, rundown of how I kind of reorganized everything, and I'll just kind of show you a quick look. So the way I organized it the other time didn't really have any kind of rhyme or reason to it. It was just kind of like, this is the early stuff, and then this kind of went down to the later stuff. So it's like I had like the deck of tapes first, then I went to like the early Beatles, like Please Please Me with the Beatles, and then all the other countries like UK and US albums kind of mixed together. And I just didn't quite like that anymore because sometimes it's kind of hard to find records sometimes. Um, and it was like, what do I do with compilations like that span early music to later music, like rock and roll music and all that kind of stuff? So the way I did things now is that I split things off by country. So here's all the 45s, and then within that country, I organized them by release date. So starting with the 45s, that's what I did first. So these three crates here are all United States releases. Again, starting with the earliest stuff, and actually, the according to my book over there, like the first kind of official release is "She Loves You," and then we go through, "I Want to Hold Your Hand," all that kind of stuff, and then from every release from there, I have the reissue behind that. So like I Want to Hold Your Hand, you have the original release, and then I have every subsequent reissue behind that if I have it. So as you can see, I got the Apple 1971 release of I Want to Hold Your Hand behind the original release, and then behind that I got a blue Starline, so on and so forth, black Starline, and then the reissue, and then like the next release after that is My Bonnie. So I have a My Bonnie promo, and then have a picture sleeve with the stock copy, so on and so forth. So again, that kind of goes through all the early stuff, and kind of the mid-period stuff like that. Again, everything is kind of like release date and then subsequent reissues behind that, and then things that released later. I just have in release date order. So like this came out 1995, Free as a Bird 95, and I got some bootlegs in the back, and this kind of morphs into some North American 45s. So I go US and North American. So I have some Canadian records and some Mexico releases behind that. And then from there, I got a UK box here. And then I have picture sleeves from Europe all out and through there till probably about here. And then have all the other countries from either like, I have a couple South African releases and then a lot of Japan releases from there. The only exception of things I don't have here is things in this box here. As you know, I kind of recreated the one poster with original picture sleeves, and they're all right there. So those are accounted for in kind of my spreadsheet here, as you can see in my 45, the US 45s thing. But I got it denoted as it's in the one poster box set. So as you can see, I kind of got all those in there. And there's the North American 45s, South American Caribbean, Europe 45s, Africa, and Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. So that's what I did for the 45s, and then at least for the Beatles. And then solo 45s were a lot easier to handle because I just went by release date since I don't have too many countries to worry about. I mostly have US releases, and then some of the UK only releases I have mixed in again in release date order. So Paul McCartney, just this row. Then I got John, Ringo, and George, which is getting pretty full. And then I have some of the box sets up here that just didn't quite fit, like the Ringo Starr Record Store Day box and John Lennon singles bag. And I think this is the When We Was Fab box set there. So I know I had a video showing all my Beatles LPs, so like a little flip through video. So I'm probably going to do that with the 45s at some point in time. And since now I got it organized, I might make some labels and stuff, like have like a little US flag sticking up through there and UK flag, so on and so forth. And that is about it for the 45s. I got some over there just for kind of displaying now and then stuff. And I guess let's go to the LPs here. So I got this shelf right here, all Beatles, and then I pretty much did the same thing I did with 45s, but with the LPs. Again, I went release date, order. So these three crates right here are all US pressings. I went release date, order, and then any subsequent reissue from that same album. So like I got Meet the Beatles here, but I got like 1964 pressing, 65, 69, 71, 78, so on and so forth. And then the next release was the Beatles with Tony Sheridan, kind of things like that. Second album, you get the idea from there. So I had my book to base off the release date and a couple websites to kind of put it in somewhat of an order here. So this is kind of early to mid Beatles period. Then I got Help to I think Sergeant Pepper back there. Leftover Sergeant Pepper's through the White Album there. Yellow Submarine through like Hey Jude, and then we're kind of getting to the compilations throughout the 70s back there as well. So from there, again, I split off two. That's pretty much my UK box here. That fills up a full crate, and about half a crate there. And then I have all the other European countries through the rest of the crate on this blue one, and then finishing up with like some Canadian pressings, Japan, so on and so forth. And similarly to the Beatles one box, I have all my flag series Japanese um, denoted in the spreadsheet if I can get there real quick. Yeah, so I got all the flag series denoted here because they're in their separate box because I'm going to make a big box set of all of that when I'm completed with it, which I hope to do this year, hopefully soon. So that's kind of how I've organized that. And I've also added kind of a freed up couple of spaces up here. And these are kind of Beatles related records. I kind of took out to make some more space from the record crates over there. So this is like, some like songbooks, Beatles songs that were like um, orchestrated, that kind of thing, stuff like that. Like let's see, and then we got Chet Atkins picks the Beatles, that those kinds of albums, and then I also have some Beatles or Apple related albums in there that were on Apple, like Mary Hopkin. I even got some Harry Nilsson stuff in there, and some solo stuff like Magic Christian, all that kind of stuff. Kind of put over there. And then this stack is just from the blue box. I just put it there because I didn't want the records in the blue box and take it out because some of them have a little seam split issues. So if I ever want to listen to the BC13 box, I'll just have easier access just right there. And I freed up this space here. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I might just put some of my books that I use readily available. And then those four squares down here are just other artists in the alphabetical order, then by release date order. So the way I freed up some space from this cube is because on the side of a road, believe it or not, there was this what is that, 2x4? Yeah, of my shelf. And so it was a bigger thing. It was a little beat up, but as you can see, a little TLC there. Big shout out my mom for helping me with this. So I kind of got some odds and ends, some magazines. Those are the Christmas records, and then I got again Beatles related 45s here, and then just other artist 45s there. And so yeah, that freed up a lot of space, helped me organize my closet a little bit. So that is pretty much it. Besides the solo shelf here, which I have Paul McCartney with one, two, three squares. I pretty much got 70s Paul, 80s Paul, and then 90s to present Paul. Then I got Ringo, George down there, John down there. Those are just being cleaned so they can put back up with Paul. And then those I'm still deciding what to do with in terms of putting it in the Beatles shelf or the Beatles related items. So that about does it. There's some other box sets I will be accounting for on the spreadsheet that I got. But I'm thinking I'm gonna like this layout a lot better just for this kind of finding things and kind of just again learning when all these release dates happen, just in general, because I haven't really looked into when everything was released at what point in time. So it kind of gives you some perspective of like you know Beatles. I want to hold your hand. 64 came out. Blah blah blah. What were some releases from other countries at that time, or other U.S. albums that came out. So that's kind of what I did. Let me know in the comments how you organize your record collection. Are you strictly like alphabetical, no organization? You like doing release date by artist, all that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of curious, but I just kind of wanted to show you what I did, just because I haven't. This is the first time I reorganized my collection, um, pretty much ever. So it was pretty fun to go through all the records again. I also went on Discogs and kind of updated some prices, all that kind of stuff. Just kind of clean it up, make it a little more tidy, more up to date. So this is kind of my record corner here, and that's kind of my setup there. What I do right now. So there is the look at the collection. I got some more finds, waiting for a few things that come in the mail. That's some Ringo snippets because I did see Ringo not too long ago, so I'll make a little video about that. Again, I'm waiting for things that come in the mail because I'll get some Ringo merch coming my way. Um, those two records there probably going to end up selling. So if anyone wants Paul McCartney All the Best or a Canadian Love Me Do, this is a Spanish copy. I found a UK copy in better shape, and then I already have a Love Me Do Canadian 45. So probably sell those off, and then I got some other odds and ends finds, that kind of stuff. So hope you enjoyed this kind of overview of my collection here and how I kind of reorganized it. Again, let me know what your guys' preferred method is, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.